Amazing.
I'm just kidding, Carol.
I know.
So we have Ra, we have Teepee, we have Myth, and we have Artemis. You all have finally set foot in ardengale.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh.
so pretty. Wait, that's my shit. That's
Wait.
actually my shit.
Pause that. Pause. Wrong one. Darn it.
But this music's great.
It's not the music I want, though. Entire. No.
Can I suggest a song?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on.
You have to hit
I
play.
know. Are we good?
I hope so. You have to hit. Wait.
There we go.
Turn you up a bit.
Okay, so you have just landed in Ardengale. And it's a little surreal in the way that things just seem okay here when the last two big places have just kind of been falling apart because crazy crap's been going on. I mean,
How thin is the air?
pretty thin up here.
Oh my gosh. That's
You'll have to take a bit to adjust to it.
Ra immediately looks over at Quetzal. How's he acclimating?
Quetzal is kind of freaking out because Quetzal's not used to being up this high, and plus, this city is not really built to accommodate Chocobo. So,
Racist.
The crystals.
that said, there is a very peculiar sight. There are lamps lining the streets. They are flickering with light. There are signs on buildings that are flickering with light. There's a lot of systems in place that not even Highgate really has. There's cables and wires connecting to different buildings.
Alright, so I assume we land in some sort of airship docking area.
Yep.
So Ra immediately looks to Ricardo for any cues as to where to go or what to do. Is he just dropping us off?
He opens up the landing door. He's like, well, off you are. I have a couple other things to take care of, and well, if we don't see each other again, I'm sure you can find your own way back. There's quite a few ships in and out of this place.
As is probably necessary. Thank you so much.
Right now.
If
Roz-
you need...
Ra's tongue is kind of hanging out of his mouth as he kind of... Whew.
Ricardo is completely unbothered. He says, if you need to orient yourself, there's a place that's a common watering hole for outsiders like yourselves. It's called the Overhang.
Duly noted. Well, we've got business here then, don't we?
Yes. Are the lights from? Are they using? I thought they worshipped Ramu. Why would they be using Magitech to Magicite to?
Well, you see those wires? I think it's a little different. Artemis, how are you acclimating? Oh, bye, Ricardo. Safe travels.
Stay out of
yes,
trouble.
Goodbye.
Not too bad. Interesting.
Alright, so we've got the overhang. There should-
How's TP doing with the?
Yeah,
Oh!
TB, how you doing up in this big, high altitude floating city space? I guess TP's just dead.
I guess he's dead.
Mute button. I both love and hate this. I promise.
Alright, so how's TP doing?
TP's pretty okay about all this, actually. He's definitely like, this is nice, Koopa. What, not used to being higher up? And he just kind of like floats up a little bit, floats back down.
Alright,
no,
so-
like changing altitude. Whatever will we do, Koopa?
Ryan, this is not a slight change in altitude.
It's not too bad, all things considered.
I need to jog more. That's all this tells me. Alright, so our agenda. And Ra holds up his left hand, outstretches one finger. Find where the city's crystal is. Talk with its overseers. Possibly find any precincts that worship Ramu. He looks at Myth and nods. Looks at Artemis. You can do whatever you want, I suppose. We should set up a reconvening point. The overhang, the place Ricardo just mentioned, might be our best bet. I think I want to take a look down at the markets. And possibly whatever places around here facilitate this level of engineering. Maybe they can show me a little bit about this gun too. Before my lessons with Eliza, that is. And you, TB. He outstretches his fourth finger and then points the whole hand at the Moogle. You get to stay with one of us.
TB's already pulled out his pike staff. Looks like he's ready to channel and do the findy thing, and he's like, Koopa?
Well, it would
Cut off
be
a lot for me there.
it would be very prudent if you were to try to see if there's any lodestones around here, as we probably don't have much opportunity to get here. At least it would be monetarily beneficial if we figured it out while we were up here, I guess.
Nice recovery. Exactly. That said, I need to go to the markets too, I guess. So
Alright,
he
you're
just
with
kind
me.
of cheap jingles his bronze chain shirt that he can't wear with proficiency.
Artemis and Myth, split into twos, or should we stay together?
I suppose it would be prudent to stay together for the moment.
Alrighty.
It is a pretty big city. We could get
Honestly,
lost
I
pretty
have-
easily, Koopa.
Honestly, I've never seen Levin aspected either like this.
Those lights are ether?
Well, yes.
Artemis, give me an Arcana check, please.
Wouldn't it be easier?
Sure.
Wouldn't it be easier to go and ask someone who maybe built them what they are, instead of just, surmising to ourselves about them?
I mean, how are you supposed to chase after knowledge if you don't ask a question?
How are you
Artemis,
you don't
supposed to
think
make
about it
any?
yourself.
How are you supposed to make any groundbreaking discoveries if you don't build upon the foundations that scholars of today have already
Alright,
built?
alright,
But they don't
alright.
have a
Let's.
foundation yet.
Rod gestures at the lamp. Yes, they fucking do.
Alright, Myth, while they're arguing, Myth is just going to rub her forehead and try and look for some signs or anything that seems to lead to the tavern, the inn, whatever the watering hole is.
The watering hole,
Out.
Ricardo called it the overhang, and
Overhang.
it's kind of a little play on words as far as you can surmise.
Ra
Right.
swings his legs up onto Quetzal, and he's gonna saunter back behind the group, keeping up the caboose.
Right,
So Artemis, you're not sure why, but you definitely feel a little bit of a charge in the air.
Yep.
Just it almost feels palpable. Anyway, so you guys are, which way are you headed?
I'm currently looking for signs that might point us to the overhang.
Ra's gonna help. If I were to hide a tavern up here, where would I put it? He fingers at his chin. Maybe over there?
Alright, so
there's,
investigation check.
So on the streets, there are signs that point in different directions, but they seem to be naming out the streets.
Are there any passerby?
There's a few.
Ra waves his hand, tries to get the attention of one.
You see a lady who is sporting basically noble woman's dress, and she has an umbrella, a parasol, really, and she blinks at you astride your chocobo, and she's like, "I was not aware there was a parade in town."
Ra winks and says, parade headed for the overhang. You might know what direction to point us in?
Oh, that place. She kind of jogs her own memory a bit, kind of twiddling her parasol, and then she points the street behind her, the one that she should just walked up. She says, "Yes, a few blocks that way, and then take a right. Can't miss it."
Ra then thumbs at his chin again and says, "Say, you wouldn't fancy having a little bit of a professional portrait done of you, would you?"
What?
Ra.
What are you trying to... Ra, what are you doing?
I'm penniless.
She kind of like places a hand on her chest, is like, "Portrait of me? Well,
Well, audacious enough, just trying to ask her for directions.
Ra just holds up a hand, blocking Myth from her view, and says, "Oh yes, the way the light strikes your bone structure, especially at this angle, I think that would definitely be something you would want to capture.
What a charmer you are.
You guys just go on without me. I really need money. Quetzal's real expensive."
Right after we decide this, right after we agreed to...
You said, Koopa.
Not for nothing, but he does actually have.
Have what?
He has a point. We're kind of poor right now.
Yeah, so you go get us situated at the overhang. I'll catch up with you.
For once, you actually have a good idea.
What do you mean
Ra's heart
we?
flutters a
think
little
that
bit.
Don't tell me you're
I think
poor
they're-
too, Koopa.
Of course
Seems
I'm
whenever
poor.
both of you agreed that having him kidnapped was a good idea back in Highgate.
I'm sure somewhere across the world, a shooting star has just blazed across the sky. Now, come on, come on then. And he sort of looks.
He looks at me.
Alright.
How much do you have in your pack?
By this time, Myth has just rolled her eyes and started to walk in the direction the ladies gestured at.
Yeah,
So.
we don't have access. We don't all have access to a fabulously wealthy mansion. At least not anymore, anyway. But
Shh. Ron just slams his finger to his lips, and then he looks back at the woman, gauges to see if she's still interested at all.
She's kind of skeptically looking at your lot, because definitely all seems strange.
And like this very well might be a scam. I could, yeah, this might be a scam.
Ra's gonna take out his he's gonna take out his book, and he's just gonna like flip through the pages to show the legitimacy of his skills, just so she can see some examples.
She's gonna roll insight as you reach out for the book.
His skills,
Making!
his skills for the payment of many bills.
All right. So as far as she can tell, your intentions are benign. So she's gonna fold up her parasol and take a peek, and she seems pretty impressed. It's probably nothing like any great works of art she's probably seen in her time, but she's like,
Hey, it's something.
oh, that's not bad for an amateur.
An amateur I may well be, one-on-one interaction definitely has the effect of giving a specific flair that you may desire to have in the piece. Now then, any particular, what would you call it? Vistas that you'd like this to occur on?
I don't suppose you know of the Sky Gardens.
No, not at all, but my interest is piqued.
So, she turns around, she makes a big whistle, and I'm not about to whistle right now because I can't whistle. Thank you. She does a big whistle, and a pretty large, heavy-set man in pretty plain clothing, carrying 2 luggage cases, approaches.
I'm gonna roll insight. Is this a slave?
As far as you can tell, maybe he owes her a considerable amount of debt after failing to fill a legal obligation to investigate some ruin and finding himself completely out of his element. And now here he is.
What kind of asshole would do that?
Ra's face contorts into a very forced, teeth-gritting grin, and his fists both clench to the point where his hands kind of look like a white person's.
Are you having a stroke or something?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, man, Artemis is still with him? I thought Artemis
All
went
right,
went off ahead with
Sky Gardens. He claps his hands in a very forceful attempt to actually open them again. Lead the way. Oh, by the by, the name is Ra, and he gives a slight bow.
Ra, is it charmed? Igor, if you'd lead on. Yes, I'm calling you Igor. And the noble lady's name is Noble Lady, so there you go.
Okay.
I was thinking Matilda. I was thinking Matilda.
Fine, Matilda's fine. Her name's Matilda then. Okay, so Lady Matilda, Noble Lady, and Igor lead you to the Sky Gardens, which takes a little bit of time to get to. Maybe 20 minutes by foot.
Could I talk to her a bit?
Sure.
So as we're walking, Ross starts musing. You know, there have been outbursts from criers in other cities, places like Highgate, maybe Alexandria. Little individuals who claim Ramu's divine wrath is approaching the horizon.
Oh, I don't suppose you pay heed to those silly rumors, do you?
Oh, of course not. No, I wonder what the religious climate's like here, especially with such technologies as these. And he displays his hands at one of the lamps.
Well, I don't really keep appraised of such affairs, but last I heard, there was a little bit of a difference of opinion between the Council of Science and the presiding cult of Ramu. They seem to have They seem to have gone on diverse paths.
Interesting. And where does the nobility, such as yourself, have a place in this? Are you aligned with one side or the other, or?
Well, whether you take or leave the words of the cult of Ramu, you can't deny the benefits of all the advances that the Council of Science has provided this city in the recent years. It is literally on their backs why we prosper so.
And the two share a foundation, then? Started from the same beginnings and then diverged at some point in the future?
You seem to be well versed on your history, Mr. Ra. I believe that's how it is told, yes.
He nods. That's all he really wanted.
Alright, so eventually you reach the Sky Garden, and it is probably one of the most beautiful gardens you have seen.
Better than the
It
one in
is
Mist?
Not better than the one in Mist, but it definitely has its own sort of virtue.
Hell yeah. Science Garden.
The one in Mist is a lot more bigger, and it's basically a glorified forest within a giant glass dome. This one's more open air. It's basically a small district. It's got various balconies that have like rows of flowers and stuff. There are ornate fountains that pour water in just these gentle cascading waterfalls.
All right.
There's a lot of like reliefs and carvings and such.
I
So-
am going to roll insight to see what would be reasonable to charge this lady, given her status.
Okay.
Is Ra inclined to charge rich people more than poor people?
Very
Oh.
inclined. He just wants to know what the correct
Okay.
ballpark is.
Fair enough.
From her idle devil may care gait and her whole like just indifferent to most of the pressing matters around her, it's looking like she has the leisure to just throw money around, perhaps.
So like 3K?
Perhaps.
And try.
Definitely go for it. Mr. Ra, is there a certain backdrop that you prefer for your sketches?
Ross squints and looks at her, and would you say she has a particularly light or dark complexion?
She's got a pretty pale complexion. She's got blonde hair. It's curly, but not naturally curly. It's underneath one of those big bonnets.
Gotcha. Well, she's a very
dolled up.
Mary Poppins looking lady.
She's very dolled up. Yes.
Well, an excellent contrast to the exquisite dress you're sporting would probably be some sort of seating in the technology of the place to situate really the setting with the rife beauty and nature surrounding. It would sort of create a concentric circle with you at the center, and then your seat, and then everything else. So if we can get the right angle from the sunlight, Ra looks around. Is it sunny, overcast?
It's pretty sunny, partly cloudy. Seems to be, I would say, in the middle of the day.
Alright, so we can block out the majority of the sun to maintain the glare and really bring out your complexion. And ooh, what about right over there? And he points off to where there's probably some trees, but also there's still very notable fixtures, and it's identifiable as ardengale architecture.
Yep. She seems to just be taking your word for it, nodding along, pretending like she knows what you're saying.
Well, that's kind of the impression Ra's under most of the time too. And he's gonna set up probably about 10-ish, 15-ish feet away, probably sit on some railing up against the road and get to work.
All right, how much time you want to spend on this picture?
I'm gonna spend... I guess I'll ask her. How confident are you in your ability to sit still for, say, an hour?
She kind of peeks up and she says, well, I am known to be the very picture of patience when I have a mind for it.
Uh-huh.
She even starts to go on. It's like, you would not believe some of the auctions that my husband brings me to. They're absolutely true.
Ra hatches an idea and says, well, it does get a little pricier, but maybe you could even hold for 2 hours?
She gives a moment to consider that. Yeah, we'll make another insight check. Uh, 18, are you contesting it with anything?
Ra's being pretty forthright.
Okay. So 18, she kind of ponders, purses her lips, and she says, well,
I guess something she would get is that Ra doesn't get the opportunity to draw one person sitting in a position for 2 hours at a time. So he's almost a little thrilled by the opportunity.
So the way she slices it is that, better things come to those who wait. So she looks towards Igor and says, well, if it takes too long, I'll send Igor along and let my husband know that I'll be home shortly.
Perfect.
Actually, it's pronounced Igor.
She has no obligation to pronounce her slave's name right.
She does not. All right, so she takes a seat, assumes a pose.
All right, moment of truth. So for 2 hours, is that just one roll?
Let's do 2 calligraphy rolls. Okay, that's good. +9 it should be. So while that's happening, let's find out what the other people are doing. Did anyone follow Ra?
No.
No one followed Ra? Okay, so
You guys
Wine
still have
goat
Quetzal,
wine.
by the way. He just left him there.
he left without Quetzal.
I say that he
Oh.
stuffed some Gisal greens in QTP's book bag.
So
Sounds good to me.
Quetzal's just following QTP now.
Sure.
So
I can't believe you left us with the birds.
So are you guys making your way towards the overhang?
yeah. Myth is kind of
Um,
like looking at the street names, looking around at the shops, just kind of like taking in the sights.
About
She hasn't ever seen anything like this before.
About the quarter of a block on your way towards the overhang, you hear a shrill whistle, and a man garbed in very official attire approaches your group. Sans Ra.
I was about to get in trouble for having a chocobo.
God, my ears.
Hold up! What's with the bird then?
Well, we have a friend who doesn't quite know how to take care of him, so we're So we'll be.
Who's
So we're
babysitting,
trying.
Koopa?
Babysit. He looks at the chocobo and then he looks at you, Myth. Well, he looks at all of you, but he's like babysitting.
Yes, it's an emotional support chocobo.
For a friend that I'm not seeing among your lot,
That's how babysitting works.
Well,
Look, the man needs support. He doesn't need like constant oversight.
what he claimed. At least that's what he claims.
the officially garbed man, he's kind of wearing a black uniform with like the shoulder tassels, and he's got like a single half cape spilling down his left shoulder.
At any rate, it would be appreciated if you could direct us to some stables anywhere nearby.
He looks at your group and he's pulling out a notepad and he's writing into it.
What does that mean? Oh, as in, can I make an insight check on that? What does that mean?
Sure.
Alright.
Best you can gather is that he is writing out a ticket.
Get. Oh. But wasn't it already a problem that.
Hey,
so
charisma
that-
character. Fix
He
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
He pauses.
So-
He pauses
so-
scribbling. Hold on. He pauses scribbling. And he looks at you. He's like, "I don't suppose you have a license to be cavorting around with a what was it? Emotional support animal?"
What? Rodniger?
Yes, Myth, a
He
license.
would probably be the one with the license.
Of
Oh, I
course,
apologize.
there's-
Oh, my apologies.
Yes.
It's
Yes, of course. A license. Yes, of course. A license. Now. No. Fuck you.
I see.
Armus, it's like, yes, Smith, a license. Of course, our dear officer friend here wouldn't be nearly so crass as to forget subsection 9, paragraph 10 of the official handbook.
He's
Subs-
lowering his
Subsection 9? No?
He's furrowing his brows.
You don't know what subsection 9 is?
Are you trying to insult my intelligence, woman?
Are you trying to tell me that you don't know what
I-
subsection 9 is?
I'm.
Are your supervisors around? Are they in earshot?
You are the worst
I'm-
charisma character I've ever.
I'm. Jeez, and like Myth is trying to say something, but I imagine that each time Myth opens her mouth on her, Artemis just presses the police officer more, and Myth just, and then you just see Myth just like, oh my gosh.
He
He buries his face in his paws and is shaking it violently.
I'm sorry, sir. This is my. I haven't really. I haven't really. Is this normal or custom for your city? I've not traveled out of Mist. This, but for a few weeks.
That's where your lot is from? Mist?
I don't know about these. I don't know about these hired folks, but I am, yes.
And you didn't
fact,
think
that
to
was-
stop by the customs office.
Oh my god, Ricardo.
When we got off the airship, he just said, "Hey, go to the overhang." He mentioned nothing about a customs office.
What did he say? Did that man scam me?
Why do you open your mouth?
sorry, I'm sorry for the trouble, officer. I believe I need to have some stern talking to with a certain airship captain.
Oh, well, before you go anywhere, why don't you come with me and we'll get this all sorted out?
If you would be, would you really so kindly assist me? I admittedly, the temple sent me out, even though the temple sent me out to check on. I honestly don't know why the temple had sent me out. So with no experience.
His lips tug into a frown, and he, like, the quill writing just stops as he stares at you. His lips pursed.
You guys are really killing this.
Hey,
Oh my god!
Like mentally, there's a record scratch when you say, they sent me to check on the crystal.
Nice.
Really,
I like how.
if Ra has to break you out of jail, I'm gonna throw something.
so
Um,
just
he-
as this farce is playing out, Artemis just like reaches into her, thing and pulls out like Realmsward identification. Look, we're with Realmsward. Can we just go talk to your supervisor and get this over with?
He takes the Realmsward identification card, guild membership card. Student body membership card.
Yeah, I cut out there. So yeah, look, we're with Realmsward. Can we just go to your supervisor and get this over with?
His eyes fall over it, and they read it, and they seem to read it twice, and then they seem to read it thrice over. His lips are still kind of pretty thin as he's considering things, and then he passes the identification back to you, and he kind of tugs his lips into a pretty tight, narrow grin. He says, of course, we'll get this all sorted out. Don't you worry.
Ow.
This way then. And he notably is directing you away from the overhang to another location.
Right?
Lead on, Koopa.
I kind of like look at Artemis, look to QTV, and just like
But apparently you're just inclined to lie to anyone who asks you about stuff. It's not really healthy.
So he leads you up the
that.
streets, and they kind of wind a little bit in the way that they go. He brings you to a pretty sizable building among these buildings, and it's notably gated off. There's a couple of other people in uniform standing to either side of the gate. This city patrolsman approaches them, gives them the nod, and they nod back and open it up and lead you into what you can assume is one of the, official bureaus of the city. I'm guessing you guys step through?
Yep.
right. I mean, we don't have any reason not to.
Alright, so you step through, and the gate
It's a
closes behind you.
It's a fascinating city you have here.
Well, we do everything we can to keep things running smoothly and to keep Chocobo shite off the ground, but
1,000 apologies.
Oh, that's a noble endeavor if ever there was one.
right then, one of the patrolsman, one of the, police people, approaches the chocobo and is like, "Right with me, guy," and is basically leading the chocobo away from the rest of the group, leading Quetzal away from the rest of the group.
Let's go into the stables, right, Google? Our friend will literally kill specifically me if he goes missing.
Just as you're saying, just before you get the phrase "kill" out, Armis just like clasps her hand over your mouth.
As the chocobo's being led away, Quetzal is kind of fighting a little bit. He's fluttering his wings. He's kind of like quaying in protest. He wants to stay with the people that smell like Geishel greens.
Hey, Tippy, throw him the greens.
What?
Okay.
Oh, that's
Oh.
it. Here.
The officer sees some greens being lobbed his way and basically tries to make a football catch of it. He does pretty okay.
4 out of 5 stars. Football.
Basically using the greens as a sort of coercement. Basically, Quetzal gets reined in, and you guys get shuffled into an office. Well, you get shuffled into a hallway and a series of desks, and you're led up a set of stairs, and finally you're in an office. The guy escorting you points an open palm towards a row of seats. Right then, Chief should be along shortly. Just, we'll get this sorted.
Fantastic.
And
The best.
I apologize for the inconvenience, but I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And you guys are left alone in this office as the door closed behind you. It's a pretty nice office. There's a big plaque on one of the walls. The desk has like little bits and devices. Interestingly enough, there is a chandelier that is kind of humming and flickering. And there's a big metal panel running up from the floor, up the wall, over the ceiling, and it connects directly to this hanging, flickering lantern.
Hey, it's a chandelier.
Unlike candlelight, this light is pretty harsh. It feels almost cold compared to the warmth of the open fire. Or any sort of self-contained flame.
It's odd. Have the rest of the lights in the city also have been cold?
As far as you can tell, yeah, all the lights have been kind of the same way.
That's wrong.
Like, they might give off heat, but you wouldn't be sure unless you got really close. And you'd probably look silly stretching your hands up to try and feel the heat coming off of this one.
Well, they were all hotter a few years back, but then they replaced them all. The lights don't come on quite as quick, and they don't heat up as much. Some kind of push for eco-friendliness, I think.
Moments later, the door opens up, and a balding old man steps through. He's wearing a lot more of a decorated uniform. He keeps a cane, but he seems to walk fine without it. And he sits down at the desk. He has very hairless eyebrows, and he has a very intense owl-like stare, which he now trains on the lot of you. outsiders to our city, are you? He looks over a sheet of paper that he came in with. He's kind of scanning his eyes over it.
There's the BS, yes. My name's Artemis Newson. This is. He-
This is QTP, and I am Myth.
Dinzentheria, if I am not mistaken.
Pardon?
Oh, thank you. I don't have to try and pronounce it.
Misselin Dinzentheria of the House Dinzentheria.
Ozina, technically speaking, her full name's Ozinamithera.
Apologies. Alzinamith.
No. That was out of character. That was out of character. Just
Ozaminthin. he looks at
correctly pronounces her full name. He correctly pronounces her full name.
Lady Dinzentheria, then.
You.
That would be the one, yes.
Me?
You are emissary from Mist here to. What was it? Inspect the crystal?
Yes, indeed.
Hmm. He leans back in his seat, and it is a pretty cushy seat.
You know, this is not what I expected Myth to be doing when I first created her. But you know what? Let's play into it. She just has this compulsive. You know what? This works out. It's perfectly in character.
He is tenting his fingers and staring up at that light. The light that does not give warmth. The light that flickers and hums. He seems to be deeply, gravely contemplative. Moth to the flame.
Pardon?
Hey, who's crackling up in static right now?
That would
Caro.
be Caro.
Caro.
Why are you cracking? Why are you crackling?
That's the downside of using this mute button from time to time. My bad.
Not just use push to talk.
There is no
Mute button's more convenient.
Anyway. This puts me in a rather precarious situation. You see, I do have my orders from the council.
Oh, and what orders
Oh.
would those be?
Uh-oh.
Very much uh-oh.
Those who would align themselves with the interests of this follious notion of the gods are to be contained or exiled, lest their heresy sinks its way into the minds and hearts of the people.
Heresy?
Can we get a little bit of a expansion on that? Heresy?
He is leaning on the bulb of the cane that he brought in with him, and he's staring pretty gravely at the lot of you. The council has decided to push forward with the innovation of our good city. I am sure you've noticed the lights lining the streets, even the one that illuminates this chamber.
Are those 11 powered?
Hey, wait. Sorry, can I interrupt?
No,
Just. Okay, sorry.
you can.
Please interrupt.
He was being
Reverend Ball
surprised.
also appears to have died.
No, I paused it because
Yeah, this
bum
is a
bum
dramatic
bum.
moment. Myth, what was your interruption?
Just a comment on. Oh, I was wondering why the lady that Ra talked to called it a
A
cult of
cult?
Ramu.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
Um,
a raw skew mission, is what it looks like.
you paused it, but also Reverend Ball has fallen out of the call.
Well, I'll put it back in the call when I need to.
Yep.
Let us continue. Um, great. I lost my train of thought, guys. Thanks.
And
Aramis is like, are the lights 11 powered?
Heresy. People panic on the streets if if the gods are found out to be whatever, probably.
The crystal-bound god you consider Ramu does indeed beat at the heart of the city. But it is we, the people, who steer our destiny, not the gods.
Wow.
Inspiring, Koopa.
indeed, I
That
not see how
is
that. I do not see how that could that suddenly labels the belief in Ramu as heresy.
Those who choose to push forward with this fallious belief that they should shackle themselves to the word and will of some unseen forces above, they have no place among ardengale.
Wow.
Forgive me for being blunt. Forgive me for being blunt about this, Koopa, but everyone
finally,
needs something to believe in.
finally, someone gets it. Aramis is going to look at the two of them and she's just going to. How you boy tent? I mean, come on. We are practically these people's best friend. I mean, do you not remember what happened to Afraid?
He is looking at you
Creepy
like
flashes a smug smile. I remember, Koopa.
he's looking at you, Artemis, like you're a mad woman. Like he's
Which
quirking
she
a
is.
very, very hairless brow at you.
Oh, has the news not quite got here yet?
You sound like you have something to say, heretic. I suggest you speak plainly.
Oh, no, no. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite indeed. You see, Ifrit, Lord of Fire, Master of Mayhem, Volcanoes, all that nice stuff, is dead.
So we have been made aware, and it only further reinforces our cause.
We did it, Koopa.
He seems kind of surprised. He's like, you heretics?
Oh yeah, I landed the
Huh?
killing blow, Koopa. I
Good.
spun him around and like smacked him into the ground like 4 times, Koopa.
Aramis is
He's
just.
slowly turning his eye on you, Myth.
Yes, I've seen it happen with my own eyes.
Aramis is just like, why are you making this a really hard sell?
Even though the Moogle doesn't really help our cause, does he?
The point being, we are 100% in alignment with your belief that these creatures are not, in fact, gods.
He kind of just slowly eases back, and he's just kind of staring at you guys like he's still digesting this bite of
I know,
information.
I know. We've kind of taken the wind out of your sails on your what I'm sure was a great speech. I'm happy to let you give it anyway, but we are 100% on board with the whole "these are not God's" idea.
I am still confused as to your purpose here.
We're gonna check if Ramu has left the crystal, and if he has, we're gonna kill him.
Oh, he has
Sorry,
not.
I cut out there again.
Oh, you need not concern yourself with such matters. We have Ramu well in hand. And he's kind of giving
How's
you a
and how is
very,
that?
giving you a
And
pretty
how is
smug
that?
grin.
Oh? May I inquire as to the source of your confidence?
TP looks up at the chandeliers.
Myth. The word is not demand; it's inquire.
If these are lemon powered, are you using him as some sort of shackle, perhaps draining him of all his electricity, powering the whole city? There's a whole bunch of lights outside.
It's electrical in
He's,
nature? How did I not?
he's staring at you, TP, just with his mouth slightly ajar, trying to figure out what to say. Because, yeah, it's like he had this whole subjugating the false believers of false god spiel, and you guys are just kind of, you kind of turned it on his head.
So let me get this straight. You're literally draining Ramu of like the lightning aspected ether that makes him up, and using it to keep this place afloat and lit.
Which means, if we do have to kill him, the power will go bye-bye. An interesting dilemma, Koopa.
Don't need to kill him if they've got him under control.
Exactly.
Honest,
But how long can that control last, really? That's the question.
How long does somebody come and muck up that control is also the question.
Kale.
We've seen the devices that existed underneath that city. We saw how easily they were subverted.
Why? Look,
Oh, I've seen. I just my apologies. I forgot that you were not with us when we did investigate it. It was to Artemis and TP.
the point being, we're not here to free Ramu or worship Ramu or any of that. We were actually just here to see if you had him under control because there were troubling rumors outside that he may be breaking free. But the fact that you're using him to power this place has me thoroughly convinced that you have everything under control.
I admit that I'm still confused why one who so closely associates herself with such a obsolete form of faith would align her interests with the rest of you.
Well, it's a little difficult to have faith in your goddess when she
Perhaps people,
springs out of a crystal and freezes your city.
perhaps faith is more complicated than simply believing in what is obsolete and what is not. In addition, what Alamis had just said.
He uses a cane to push himself to his feet, and he kind of turns around and he clasps his hands behind his back. The cane is still in his hand, and he seems to be just peering at this plaque on the wall behind his desk. Just really deeply thinking about things.
We came here to have our chocobo license thing bullshit customs.
You have 24 hours to conclude what poultry business you have in the city, and then you are to leave it. Do you understand?
Yes, we came here to do a minor bit of bureaucracy. We're not here to get in anyone's
24
head.
hours.
Clearly have the matter well in hand.
Seems fair. We weren't here for anything extensive, after all.
Good. I trust you have the wisdom to leave this situation to those who best understand it.
Absolutely. We're just up here. I mean, we've come all this way, so suppose we'll do a little bit of sightseeing around and then we will be out of your hair entirely. You have this situation well in hand.
He turns
Hey,
around
can I make an
again.
insight? Can I make an insight check? Just like, just like, how is he this confident?
Sure, you can make an insight
Is he
check.
confident?
You
Okay.
can make an insight check.
Alright.
He seems to believe he's confident. It might be that
Right.
he trusts someone else with the matter, perhaps.
Right.
Music.
That said, he also does seem just slightly shaken because he's like, wait, that's not how this was supposed to go.
Because Artemis took the sail out of his took the wind out of his sail, and then TP did it.
If I may be so bold, I'm a bit of a scholar myself on these matters, and I'm wondering, was it you that came up with this whole system, or is there someone else who's devised this ingenious method of suppression?
Artemis, we don't have time for this.
We
I
absolutely
mean,
all the time.
While Myth is saying this though, she's gesturing for Artemis to continue talking.
He turns
like
his
behind
heel
to her side.
Turns his heel and he looks at the lot of you and he's like, if it will sate your curiosity, Chief Elsmore Janius is the man who engineered.
Fantastic. Of course, you'd be kind enough to provide a written letter of introduction, wouldn't you? I wouldn't want to be
What was
on
his
the
name
bad
called
side
again?
of
Chief
any-
Engineer.
Hold on, I'll write it down in chat for you.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to roll a history on that name, you could.
Sounds good to me.
Even Ra? Just kidding.
Not.
Ra doesn't exist.
You sure don't.
That
was Ra's campaign exit. See you later, guys.
Near Elsmore Jane. Yeah. Chief Engineer Elsmore Janus. Let's see. Harness Ramu himself.
I could crit. I did not.
Alright. So, Artemis, you get this pretty easily. Janaeus is a name that does ring familiar, if only faintly. You're pretty sure a certain classmate who is very bookish and studious comes from the city of Ardengale, and he happened to sport the surname Janius.
Only I could remember his first name.
Womp womp.
I don't need to crit. Let's come through.
Wait, right now? Wait, right as we're talking with him? Right. We're only here to...
Let's see, with the
Wait.
43 percentile.
We come across must be documented. somewhere up here.
Okay, I'm going off the assumption that he still kind of thinks of me as a heretic, so and as such an enemy. So I'm going to. So let's see. If I continue trying to protest what Artemis is doing, will it make him more liable to give in to what she's saying?
I think you're playing like 9-dimensional chess here.
you might just make your compatriots look more guilty by association with you.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So, TP, you know what you were able to get from your book of just many random pieces of trivia is that Elsmore Janius is one of the founders of Ardengale. He's a big deal.
Ah, the founder of Ardengale, Kupal. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm actually really happy that we came here. I mean, technically speaking, like I was fully expecting us to get no Pentranet information other than if Ramu's still in his crystal, but this is actually very good information.
Yeah, we've got so much information.
Ah,
Now you-
I mean, Ra's about to make bank, so
the Elsmore Genius celebrated off of a brief history of non-Euclidean geometries and their applications to mechanistry.
You must understand that the chief is a very busy man and does not appreciate interlopers in his affairs.
Of course, but someone's clearly as important as you could write us a letter of introduction, wouldn't you? I mean, I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of any bureaucracy around here.
And what cause would I have to do that?
Well, if your mechanicians work so well here, there's absolutely no reason why, say, they wouldn't be able of great use in, say, mist and suppressing the monster there, or any of the other crystals. We could potentially end this entire thing, and then we could dispel the myth of godhood across the entire world. But obviously, what we would need to do first is actually understand the genius that is at work here. I mean, look at these lamps.
You're asking us to overreach.
Have you considered the possibility that other nations would pay for this technology?
And you believe they would so readily bend the knee to receive it? Are you that foolish?
Ah, you're thinking that they still think they're gods. But after what Breed has done in Alex Shear, what Shiva's done in Mist, you think that's going to persist for very long?
They'll be all too eager to take their own eidolons and make use of them. Physical, actual use, people. If we had had that technology with the Frit,
guys, we're playing the good guys.
Oh, with this group apparently.
Man
not.
screaming in the distance.
TV is playing the Final Fantasy guy.
Ra is gonna kill you guys.
Officially has the Myth is just leaving it to them because she's way out of her element here. She's just standing to the side with a "what the hell is going on" expression on her face.
Myth is just making constant
All
eye
I'd like is a
contact with
brief.
the
All I'd
eyes.
like is a brief interview with him, and then
That's
that's it.
The
We'll
captain
We'll leave the matter at that.
The captain turns his eye on you, Myth, and he says, "And you would stand by and abide by this. A very betrayal."
what I believe in again, sir. So what I believe in is not something I'd imagine is very quantifiable, especially with who I believe in knocking down my doorstep and threatening my city.
and turning her parents into ice monsters.
Okay, Myth
Us too,
Myth
for
is
that
kind of like
matter.
Myth just visibly flinches at that.
How do you expect someone to have faith in the face of their parents being turned into horrible ice monsters?
Jim stares.
Somewhere Ra's pencil twitches and he has to erase a mistake.
He is continuing to consider things.
Five
With your
minutes,
lot.
5 minute interview, and then I'm out of your hair forever. Oh, and the chocobo license.
Yes, that is what we originally were here for. Where is Quetzal?
He better be in the stables. If he's lost, Rob will kill me, Koopa.
Okay. Is high good or bad?
The pie's decent.
Okay.
Sure, high's good.
All right. Such things typically take time. The bureaucratic process is a methodical one. Unfortunately, that is a side effect of progress. And I do not know if the chief of the Council of Science, the chief speaker of the Council of Science, would even agree were I to send him a letter of recommendation on your behalf.
So what I'm hearing is there's a chain to work up?
Well, the Council of Science is composed of the 4 aristocratic houses of Ardengale and their brightest minds.
Is it always
Four
four,
aristocrats.
Koopa?
4 is a nice square number. It keeps everything balanced.
As all things should be. And okay, so in your humble estimation, who would we be best to approach for a recommendation?
I suppose it is a new site. Myth stares into the camera with
Perpetually staring into the camera.
Welcome to Raw TP.
this is art at TP.
I smell a side quest.
He quietly reaches into his desk. He pulls out some stationery. He begins to pen out a letter. He does not speak to any of you as he does this. He is doing it very quietly. And the only noise coming from him is the scratching of the quill on parchment.
Iris is just sitting there with like a smile on her face and a song in her heart.
There's like a very palpable tension in the air, and the only thing that seems to cut through it is the scratching of the quill on parchment.
Like this dynamic, just for the record, I like this dynamic a lot.
And then there's the audible thump of the quill being placed on the desk, and the letter being folded up, put into an envelope, and a wax seal being stamped. All being poured and then stamped. The emblem looks like a circle with 2 slash line. No. The emblem looks like a shielded crest with like 4 stars in one corner. There's a cog in the upper right corner and like a lion, and then like I don't know, some sort of flower of some kind. He slides the envelope across the desk towards you three.
Fantastic.
You'll want to take that to the Office of Bureaucratical Affairs.
I don't
Like-
suppose we can have a map for this town, Koopa.
Of course, it is in the highest ramparts of ardengale. Large building, has a bell tower. You can't miss it, really.
Ah, bell tower. Bell tower.
Of course,
Are
it
the
was
bells?
once the Temple of Ramu, but we have seen cause to reallocate its purposes.
Are the bells also powered by Levin?
Yes, in fact, they happen to be.
Oh,
Oh, well,
Oh, interesting.
sees the means of production and all that. Okay, so we take this up to the bureaucracy place. And then what?
You present it to the receptionist. Do
Should
not
have
open
them-
it before you do.
Great. 1 second. And Artemis is just going to take out a note and she's going to scribble a receipt. Just fulfilling the whims of bureaucracy and all that.
So you're scribbling a receipt?
Yeah, for receipt of the lair.
Okay. Now, I have much to do, and this little distraction has put me far behind my usual affairs.
Of
So,
course.
I'll
And we
let you see yourselves out.
and we can just reclaim our chocobo at the gate.
Of course.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Alright, so you see yourselves out?
Yep.
well, do we have anything to do in here other than that? Huh.
Don't forget the chocobo back.
Yeah, other than that.
So,
So as I'm walking, I'm going to. I'm assuming that inside there's a bunch of Levin powered lights.
oh yeah, there's lanterns affixed to the wall and the like. So, as soon as you guys step out of the office, there are 4 guardsmen there, and they all draw their swords and point them on you.
That's
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Yes.
Come
Is there
on.
something?
We have our orders. Move.
Your orders from who?
He points his sword at you.
Are they?
right at
What?
your
What?
face. One of the guards.
race are they?
Human.
Huh?
Generic human soldiers. They point their swords at you. One of them kind of grins smugly, and he says, "Frickin', I'm trying to find something sarcastic." From the great bearded one himself. Now move.
If you were trying to get us to exit, we would just leave.
Wait a sec. Wait
Oh,
a
you're not
sec.
going anywhere. Except for the dungeons.
Wait a second.
No.
Is that heresy I hear?
Sounds like heresy to me.
You just
One takes their sword and they swing the flat of it at you. What's your AC?
16 apparently.
What do you have more AC than I do?
Alright, he swings at you, but how do you deal with it? Because it's a miss.
So as it comes down, she just sort of raises her hand, encased in magical energy, and grabs it as it drops.
So, yeah,
You
you
want-
basically catch the blade with a sheath of magical energy,
Okay.
and he looks at you just with a very angry and confused grunt.
Would you be very, very careful about where you swing swords? Do you see this? My hand right here. And she holds up the letter with the seal in it.
Another guard comes up behind you, Artemis, and he's also got a sword, and he says, "Yeah, Chief set you up but good.
Did he now?
He's got a sword at your back. You can feel the tip poking against it."
That's very smart of you, isn't? That's not very smart of you, is it? Wait.
Now, are you gonna keep being a problem, or are you gonna move?
Let's. That's a great question. Is Artemis going to keep being a problem?
Yeah, and then, alright. Are we going to hightail it? Okay.
You are kind of surrounded. You'd probably have to push through.
Of course, we can't get on a typical trip. Of course, we can't run. We can't go anywhere without running into trouble, can we? Can't go more than a week. Then apparently.
Yeah, welcome to traveling with Artemis and Ra, Koopa.
I didn't do shit.
Dude,
Katipi,
what was
Meth, how close are you to Artemis?
I assumed that we were all like.
Imagine they all exited the door at roughly the same
Oh my
speed,
god.
So
Artemis is gonna get herself killed.
Great. One second while I just check something.
You guys are also standing in a 10-foot wide hallway. Stretches out to be about 25 feet to the nearest stairwell.
Can you draw this like legitimately?
Yeah,
can you draw this out? Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
I'll draw it.
you probably need to.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Switching to grid mode. How do I object and token?
Hey, it's not like we wanted a jailbreak at the.
Map layer. Yeah. Well. How do I line? All right. So 25-foot long hallway. Shift. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10. All right, not 25. Yeah, we'll go 40 feet. 40 feet. Up. How do you want to do?
Control Z.
Thank you. There we go. Let's see. Then we'll just do freehand here. So this side curves into a downward stairwell, and this side goes around a unseen corner. You don't know what's that way because you came up through here And the door you're standing outside of is here. And you have basically 4 guardsmen flanking you, like so. There's your John Madden playbook map.
Alright, so
Hike!
Wait, what? I assumed that we were like this.
Yeah, basically.
We were all standing side by side.
Basically.
Oh well. Oh right, TP's tiny, so he could fit in somebody else's space. Gotcha.
Basically.
Right.
There's 4 swords pointed at you guys. One's got 1 point poking at Artemis's back. So, what you doing? They want you to
Damn.
move.
Damn,
Come
I really
quietly.
wanted. Shame, I really wanted to see the bows too. I'm ready to jailbreak. I'm ready to run.
Ready to break for it?
Sort of.
Who's gonna act?
Yeah.
I'm gonna whisper. Or I'm gonna whisper. Hey, Artemis. Artemis. How are we going to deal with this?
Well, in the current situation, I think the only thing we can do
What are you doing?
is the only thing we can do.
Resident Evil thing.
Yeah,
Heartbeat.
the only thing we can do, obviously, is surrender to these fine folks, and so Artemis then takes her left hand, slaps it over Meth's eyes, and then she is going to write. Because I don't have my spell set up, I'm sorry about this, but she's going to cast Hypnotic Pattern.
Okay. Hypnotic pattern.
You create a twisting pattern of colors. It weaves through the air inside a 30-foot cube within range. The pattern appears for a moment and vanishes. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed by the spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a spell speed of 0.
So what's the DC?
For Artemis, pretty sure it's like 16 or something, might be higher.
16? Okay.
8 plus proficiency is 3, plus charisma is 5, so 16, yeah.
Yep.
Should be.
And it's a wisdom saving throw?
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the DC again?
16.
16.
Alright, so I'll use a different color. We'll use a gnarly psychedelic purple for this. This guy fails as just the sun swirl of color bursts to life around the lot of you. Does TP have to make the roll, or
If TP can see it, yes.
Alright.
TP, I'm going to give you a chance to roll insight to see what Artemis is about to do.
You see, you just saw immediately, like you see her slap a hand across Smith's face, Smith's eyes specifically.
Artemis, how subtle are you trying to do this?
It's Artemis. How subtle do you think she is?
Not very.
All right. So you see that she's about to do a spell. You see the kindling of the spell in her hand as it is this weird kind of pinkish purplish with like flickering little sparkles, and you're like, oh.
Nope. Close his
You-
eyes.
You turn away, and let's see.
We're
This
doing this, Koopa.
This guy goes boom. He gets hit by it. This guy freaking. This guy fucking. He crit. He crit on a saving throw. I'm sorry.
Is he
This guy roll.
Is he helping the dude next to him?
No. So this guy's crit on a saving throw. This guy didn't crit, but he got an 18. This guy got a 15.
So also fail. 16 is
Yep.
the DC.
Yeah, 16 is the DC. So this guy, so both these failed. So you have two possible paths. One goes downstairs into the main lobby of this police office area, and the other one goes around the corner to God knows where.
All right.
So that's
Left or right?
the
Hey,
way
wait,
we just
okay.
came.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
you came from the stairs. You don't know where that goes.
So you came from the left.
You
Yeah.
came from the left.
We came from left.
Well, I'm not confident about running back and taking the chief hostage, so
Yeah.
let's
Oh.
just bolt.
Oh, we're moving.
So this happens, and these guys are like, God damn it, mages, and
Then as they say that, I'm going to target the one with a sword and pointing at Artemis with a polymorph.
ooh, you're gonna polymorph them, huh?
Yeah. That's something
Alright.
very. Let's something very. Oh, that's a good question. What? Like something very small, very not threatening.
Frog.
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 Yeah, he's gonna get turned into a frog.
You just cast
Okay.
frog on him.
So you
Yeah.
Yeah.
cast Toad.
It's Toad.
Wisdom
Hold on.
saving throw.
Wisdom save.
It's a 4th level spell. All right. What's the DC?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Which one are you casting it on?
One with a sword pointed at Artemis. Wait. Okay, this one is the one that has a sword pointed at Artemis's back, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, you have that one.
All right, so that one is now a frog, as just a murky, dark green mist just sprouts up from his feet, envelops him. He tries to gasp, but before he even can, the
Ribbit.
mist disperses, and there's just a friggin'
Fun!
frog sitting there with a little tiny, like, officer's cap on its head.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cute.
And it just
All right.
croaks.
I was just into the last one and flares up her eyes and it's like, do you want to see what the Muggle will turn you into if you try anything?
Um,
Come on, Artemis, this is not the time.
He, like holds up his finger like, I'll do it.
his sword is shaking a little in his hand, and he's unnerved. 2 of his allies got dazed, and the 3rd is now a frog.
Fucking
he-
cast.
Do you want this to be a bad day, or are you going to make this just a passable one?
You might want to find a lily pad for your friend, Koopa.
he drops his sword and he takes off. He starts running. You can make an attack of opportunity if you want, but he's gonna
No.
run down the hallway this way. He's gonna start screaming for help.
Right.
Let's knock him get out so he doesn't bring in reinforcements.
Well, do it then.
Please,
Help! Help!
Or,
come on,
alternatively,
here. Come on. This.
So are you gonna let him go?
Why wouldn't he
He's
disengage?
running in the direction that we're going. Hit him.
Oh,
Hit him with violence.
I guess he is disengaging if he's running away.
I used my action technically.
Technically true.
All right, so he runs. He runs down this
Right.
way, screaming for help.
All
But
right.
if
Also
he doesn't
hear-
run,
You also hear stomping.
Can you say what you did
Hey.
then?
what if he doesn't run?
I mean,
Wait,
oh shit!
for the listeners, and because Caro doesn't like saying what he's doing, QTB is casting Hold Person.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you really should have just said that.
You guys are
Well,
angels
I was
at getting
waiting
this
for
to
a
go
time.
quickly.
Unfortunately, he did roll an 18 on his saving throw.
That's a shame.
Yeah, you just held this person's hand, not quite his whole body.
So he starts running. These magical change manifest and wrap around him. He sees this happen, and he just wrestles them off and climbs through them. And they dissipate without anything to latch onto, and he books it around the corner.
Right. Well,
You're left with two just Mortal Kombat dizzied finish him guys and a frog in the hallway and a pair of stomping footsteps coming towards the door behind you.
right.
You gotta probably
And,
aim.
Right.
And now we execute
And now-
our most consistent stratagem. Run away.
Exactly.
Indeed.
All right, as would do. Wait, can I? All right, I'll do this too, as we're running. Loop.
All right, so you run down the stairs. As you're doing so, Myth, you wave your hand, and a veil of just misty aura falls upon your party. Your footsteps stop making noise as you stamp down the stairs. It is going into the main lobby, and that is, significantly more populated with.
I was imagining that if it's a more populated area, we just blend into the crowd a lot better. Like, can't.
You might want to. I mean,
Aren't you running after the guy who's screaming for help?
I thought we were
No.
booking it the other direction.
If we book it in this direction, we're just going back to the office that we just came from, and there's footsteps coming.
No, the
from
office you just came from is right,
sorry.
like it's on
right
the south
here.
part of the wall.
This is.
The hallway
This is-
turning
Oh,
goes
okay.
somewhere new.
But there are massive footsteps coming from this direction. Yeah.
Probably
So-
footsteps coming from everywhere.
Which direction? Wait, from
Yeah.
which direction?
Yeah, you guys just started a scene. This is downstairs.
Okay.
This is Captain's office, and he is currently about to bust through that door, most likely, because
Oh, it's him that's making noise. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
I get you.
that is. You guys don't know what, because you haven't been this way yet. So, which way are you guys going? Are you gonna stand your ground, wait for the captain to
Assuming-
bust through the door, or are you gonna move?
I was assuming we were running back the way we came to get out of this place.
So you
Um,
going this way?
Sounds good to me.
Alright, so you guys take off down this way. Whoop! You start going down the stairs. You are currently under the effect of Pass Without Trace. Are you guys gonna take an opportunity of cover to try and hide yourselves and slip out?
Yep.
Or,
Are
alright,
we going to
so
be sneaky about this, or are we going to just run?
Right, quickly. What spells do you have that will enable you to get out of here?
Out of here! I can create a. I have this. I can deliberate any more people if they come near us. I can find Quetzal, but I don't think I can find Quetzal, but that would negate what I'm doing right here.
TP, do you have any spells that will get us out of here?
No teleporting magics or anything, Kupo.
Okay, flight? Do you have flight?
Nope.
Isn't flight a 5th level spell? Just out of curiosity.
Flight is
Third.
a third level spell.
Wait,
Wait.
what? Okay.
Can't you fly normally?
you can
But
float.
that's just me.
Wait, fly.
It's not gonna do you guys. any good.
Sorceress, warlock, wizard. I can't fly. I can't fly.
I mean, there is a way all of you could fly. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but you could do it. Potentially.
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 I mean, I don't know if you're talking about polymorph. If you're talking about polymorph shenanigans, I don't know if like
I mean,
do I still have another
Okay.
use of. I can still
What
ton
big
someone.
birds do I know?
What? Do you know?
What type
Bird.
of big flyy birds do I know that can fit in?
Uh,
You've seen seagulls before. That's
TP and I both have wild shape, and we could use, but that leaves Artemis behind, and
Oh, right. If you've got a way out, then do that.
Ra's just furiously fucking slashing a paintbrush across paper.
look, part of this wasn't our. To be fair, a lot of this wasn't our fault.
Yeah. Robert,
yo.
how far away are we from the gate that we saw earlier?
So, you have to go downstairs and you have to go through the main lobby. Obviously there's going to be guardsmen stationed there, and the usual rotation of city officers. It's also going to be, once you get through that front door, there's guardsmen at the gate, and it's kind of like the it's kind of a little bit of a closed off but still open yard that patrols go through, and there's like little side doors here and there. The fences are of course barbed on the top, and they are about 15 feet high.
Great. And how far away is that?
I would say the down floor office extends to be about 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, 40. I'd say it's about a 60-foot sprint from the stairs to the front door.
Great. That's fine. Okay, so you two can just like turn into birds and fly away. Okay. Discuss
well,
this.
We could
Yeah,
leave.
discuss this.
Right? Are we discussing this? Like, are we hiding somewhere?
Wait.
Or-
You
You
can.
guys are currently out of anyone's line of sight as you're winding down the stairs, but as soon as you reach the bottom, people are going to see you, and well,
All
you'll have
right.
to act.
All right. So this is important. You just turned that guy into a frog.
Yes.
Can you do that to yourselves, but not frogs, like birds or something? Birds that can fly.
Yes, we can. What about you?
Great. Do that.
Then what
God,
about
I
you?
God, I was worried that I could only get one of you up, but if you can both fly, that's great.
Okay, now I'm concerned, but I don't care anymore, Koopa.
All right. I'm going to
just-
I'm gonna press myself. I'm gonna press myself more against the wall before I walk. A wild shift, just to like continue like into the shadows, hide myself a little better. Okay.
Just
Okay.
make your way back to that inn. I'll get you there.
Right.
Good
All right
luck.
then.
If you die, people are gonna kill me, Koopa.
Oh, I'm not going to die.
Safe, Dotimus. The hell if we have to break you out, I swear.
Let's see. Falcon is CR0.
Yeah, most of the
So
Most of-
Falcon,
wild shape is most-
Hawk, Eagle, just
Turn
I was-
into the mighty peregrine falcon.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that Myth turns into the. Remember how her intro session had her making a little sparrow or a wren?
Okay. Yeah, you can
Oh.
do that.
Okay, yeah.
Should I
So
go
turn
for a
to that.
hummingbird?
sure.
Hell yeah.
So
Have you considered the mighty peregrine falcon?
Peregrine falcons are pretty mighty.
So two you turn into birds, and thing is, you're gonna have to find an open thing to fly out of to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a window nearby?
There are a few glass windows. The architecture is thus that there's like a pane glass, very ornate pane glass window above the door, but it's separated by like, stonework.
Time to go smashy smash.
There's a few
Great.
slitted pane glass windows on the sides of the lobby.
Great. Aramis just like throws a Eldritch Blast to one of the windows to let them out.
All right, so you're taking point, and you shoot a Eldritch Blast at the window, and you shatter it.
Yep.
All right, so you do that. All of the staff who have heard the clamor upstairs turn to look at you. This mage who suddenly just launches a spell bolt. They get ready to just jump on you with their swords and other weapons.
Oh no! Whatever shall I do?
Right.
I'm assuming the two of you just book it overhead.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so you just fly overhead and.
As everyone's staring at Artemis, we just like everyone's paying attention to Artemis. Nobody's paying attention to the two.
A couple of them notice the birds, but then they turn their attention quickly on Artemis because she's the crazy lady who's loosening spells.
Yeah.
They start running
Disturbance
towards
upstairs.
you. Do you have anything that you can do before you're beaten into submission and dragged off to the dungeons?
Oh, I don't know. I guess if worst came to worst, I guess I could just, cast Dimension Door
Oh!
and just
Dimension
fuck off.
door is the
500
best.
feet to a place you can see.
Not
5
necessarily to a
place
place you
within
can see.
range.
You can say teleport me 300 feet north, and it'll take you.
And if you teleport yourself into solid matter, you instantly die.
You don't
You
instantly die. You take like 3d8 psychic damage, I think it was.
Or
4d6 force damage.
Oh. Ashen's an asshole.
Yes, he is.
yeah.
This is old news.
So,
It is a place you can see, one you can visualize, or one you can describe by stating distance and direction, such as 200 feet straight forward or upward to the northeast. It's about as precise as you can
yeah.
realistically.
We are going to warp as far possible as Artemis can remember past the gate, which closed behind them. Since we were escorted there within the last 5 minutes or so, I'm pretty sure that's fresh within her memory.
So you hold your hand out, and a portal of darkness opens up in front of you, and you step through it. All Kingdom Hearts style.
you're already losing 13 out of this.
I just can't believe that.
Wait,
she
wait,
didn't,
your
like,
name
I can
is
take
your
one.
name's Xartemis.
Yeah, of course.
What?
That,
Come
Artemis.
on, you can fucking do better than that, Eric.
Come on.
Nomura
Yeah.
can't. Fuck you.
Okay.
yeah, that was the problem. She was like, I can get one of you out, but you can both get out, so I can just, make these guys look like dicks instead.
All right. So they come rushing at you, and as they do, a big black
Carefully
oval portal.
choose your. Okay.
Up. Take a level of exhaustion. A big black oval opens up, and they slash through it, but they don't hit any flesh. They just hit magical vapor that dissipates. And they look around, and they're like,
Science can suck it!
the the captain finally steps down the stairs, and he looks around to see all the clamor. There's a shattered window out the front. He reaches down and he touches the floor, and he kind of rubs his fingers together and just kind of furrows his non-existent eyebrows. He says, "After them. They couldn't have gone far. I want this entire city looking out for them." Meanwhile, you just poof out of there. I'm assuming that our bird-ified companions land themselves on a rooftop somewhere inconspicuous.
I mean, we got directions to the inn, so.
Yeah.
Oh, so you fly towards the inn?
Yeah.
Okay. Artemis, you
Yeah.
foof outside the gate. And as you do, there's a couple of guys trying to rein in Quetzal. One of them gets launched clear across the courtyard by a chocobo kick. A well-placed
Nice.
chocobo kick. Just boom! He gets
Ooh.
launched. He gets Smash Brothers launched.
Ooh.
And the chocobo rounds about and just pecks at the one like rapidly, forcing him into his knee. The chocobo jumps up, it springs off of his head, leaps over the gate, lands next to you, and lets out a big quack flapping his wings. He is a lot happier to see you than he is to see these guys.
So yeah, she's just gonna like sort of grab the reins,
Alright.
hop on, and like, I have a license.
Alright, so you just take off down the street. These guys
Yeah.
are spilling into the courtyard as the gates are being opened up. They're chasing you, but they're not gonna fucking catch a chocobo.
Not an orange one.
Especially not that one.
Okay. Have you guys realized that every city that we've been to, except for Alexandria, we have made ourselves known to the local criminal elements and basically decided to say, "Hey, we're your guys' friends."
So there are like other guards that are going to see this woman booking it on a chocobo, and you know they're gonna try and impede you, but you just right past them. That said, you
Yeah.
don't really have a real destination in mind,
Nor a place
Without-
to go.
or a place to go.
Yes, we do. We have, well, sort of. We kind of
Well,
like.
We have a populated tavern to go
Oh yeah,
to.
I thought we were just like meeting up there and then grabbing you and then booking it back to the airship.
I'm gone for 2 hours.
It's fair. We have no idea where you are.
That said,
Yeah, I just need a place to hide for an hour.
So this is gonna be a little bit trickier for Artemis because she's kind of making a high-profile target of herself.
It really is.
So
I'm
you
s-
can obviously swoop in from out of nowhere and save the day.
Yeah, where's your cool I like girls NPCs, Robert?
You think there's one in fucking Ardengale? That's hilarious.
Lindis walks out of a door, says, "Come in here," and then they talk about Fire Emblem for an hour.
They talk about Fire Emblem Heroes builds. No. No. Shut up. Shut up, Rock. Take another level of exhaustion. Anyway. Yeah, Artemis, you're gonna be kind of a whole high-profile target, so you're gonna have to figure out how to puzzle that out. However, TP, and Myth, you're birds, and nobody really has any real way to see that you're not birds. Like most of these people are common people.
Oh shit. We missed the opportunity to have them be geese.
What? What? I don't.
Geese
What?
are horrible.
Oh.
That's all it
okay.
is.
Aggressively. Oh shit, it's the goose!
知道我听见了。
Don't fuck with it.
Untitled Goose Game. So I guess you two make your way to the overhang.
Uh,
Or not.
It's as good a start as any.
Okay.
Oh.
So I know TP wants to make his way to the overhang, so you flap your little tiny
what's the overhang?
It's the place Ricardo referred us to.
Oh, the overhang. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
overhang.
we're definitely making our way back there.
All right. So
The overhang, not an overhang.
So Artemis is just rolling investigation to find a place to hide.
yep, basically.
Sure.
Hold up.
Yeah. You all have passed without trace on.
Yes,
except
it
for,
does. It does. It should still affect Artemis.
Except for Quetzal. Quetzal does not have passed without trace on because he didn't get.
That's true. Just kill him.
Yeah, just kill.
Eat
our mascot.
Quetzal in 3 bites, and you're good.
And Kidu, is that you?
Anyway. So Myth and TP, you flap your tiny wings over to the overhang, and you find a little tiny little alleyway. There's like steam hissing out of the back of it from all the pipes and interconnecting places. You find a little place to perch down, and I'm assuming that you undo your wild shapes.
Yeah, for now at least.
Alright.
What about? What
Do
about?
that,
what about
but-
Raw?
You still might want to keep your head down. Indeed.
Yeah.
What about Ra? Before we figure out what's going on with Ra, yeah, definitely have those spells now. And you're a warlock, so you have very limited spell slots.
Yeah, they're all gone now.
They're gone.
That's why she's like, I just need to find somewhere where I can hide for an hour.
Alright, so you are moving pretty fast on your chocobo, fleeing the authorities. You're gonna have to look for a hidey spot, but it's gonna be hard to do when you have all sorts of architecture just blazing past you. So you could slow down. That would give them a chance to catch up, but that would also give you a chance to have a proper search.
Alright, so just hypothetically, could Ketso keep running for an hour and I get a short rest on him?
Um,
Have you ever ridden a horse?
I mean, he did do it, but he had the assistance of the haste spell.
you had the haste spell on him.
Have you ever
So-
ridden a horse? And now, have you ever ridden a horse going 90 miles an hour?
Have you ever ridden an orange bird before?
Through winding streets that sometimes have
All I'm saying is
sharp
it is
curves.
impossible to rest while on a horse.
I
That
don't need to
shit-
be asleep, I just need to be like
Unless
not
you're
really concentrating
no
on
fake.
stuff.
That said, you are coming upon one of those sharp curves. Roll animal handling.
You know, there are like easier ways to kill Artemis.
I know, but this is the most entertaining.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna step away, guys. It's dinner time. Sorry.
No problem. Hopefully she'll be back soon. Alright, animal handling. Alright, so Quetzal comes upon one of these sharp turns, and Quetzal, by its own volition, leaps up.
Oh
He's
god.
still clinging to the reins, and instead of like slapping its body into the side of the building, it actually just kicks off the building all parkour style. But you are now hanging off the side of the reins, sort of slapping against its body and its flapping wings. It's really hard to hold on. Give me a dexterity save.
So this is where hubris has led us.
Ra could have just talked you out of the dungeons. But no. Hypnotic
Yeah.
pattern. Oh, fuck. No.
Yeah, you're trying to hold on, but those flapping wings just friggin' just are not helping your grip at all. You get flung off, and you go rolling into the street. You take not that much, but you're still taking 4 bludgeoning damage as you just go oof, and you go into a tumble. Chocobo skids to a stop, turns around, looks at you. Seems a little apologetic. But the guards are soon to close in. You are prone.
I'm also incredibly stealthy.
You are stealthy.
Yeah, does Quetzal even see her?
It
Does
is looking
Quetzal
around.
even
like-
notice her? She's gone.
It is looking around because it knew that you were. It knew that you were riding it, and now you're not.
It
so it's like,
accidentally threw Artemis off of Ardengale. Rest in peace.
So it's kind of looking around in circles, like, wait, where Blue Lady go? What do you do?
So the guards are closing in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. I'm presuming she's got time to pull herself up and just get back on the bird.
Yeah, if you're quick about it.
Yeah, sure. Let's
Give me
let's
athletics.
dash.
Athletics.
Athletics.
Dash.
Are
Oh,
you
you're dashing. Okay.
dashing? Yes.
So, yeah, you're using an action, so I'll give
Minus
that.
-1. That's no.
You're dashing, so I'll give that to you, but you do kind of flap haphazardly back onto its back. It feels the weight of you flopping onto its back. It flaps its wings, and it seems raring to take off again, but it doesn't really know where to go. It's a little disoriented.
Okay. I pull out a map of Ardengale.
Oh my god. It probably means nothing.
Do you have a map of Ardengale?
He gave us a map.
Is it a farce? Is it a giant frowny face?
Oh, you have the letter, right? It's not map.
Didn't you say he was giving us a map as well?
I don't think I said that.
Okay.
He asked for a
He did
map,
give you
but-
he did give you directions, and he said that it would be the highest.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He gave you verbal directions.
He said it would be the highest terrace in the city with the bell tower.
Okay. Right. Rooftops. Rooftops. We're going on the rooftops.
All right, so you managed to struggle yourself back into like saddling position. You tug on the reins to direct it, and
Please.
you direct it to a stack of crates that are nearby. And you're like,
Just pretend you can fly.
You're gonna kill my bird.
go crates.
And then I'm gonna kill you.
Quetzal flaps its wings again, throws a couple like orange feathers out to its side, and it starts rushing towards the crates. I think with the velocity that's going to do this, you're probably going to need a strength, just a athletics check to hang on.
I'm pretty sure this is on the bird's head.
I mean, all right. So how well are you holding on your grip? That's what we're determining, is how well you can keep hold of the grip as it's just jumping about.
Let me check if there's any implications I could potentially have that could save me here.
Oh, there's an invocation that allows you to potentially add your proficiency to athletics bonuses if you're proficient in athletics checks.
No, there's not.
It's called the athletics skill, and you have to take proficiency in it when it's offered by either your background or your class.
Sounds like a shitty
Oh.
invocation.
Oh, look at all these fuck yous I found.
Oh, you actually have fucks to give?
I mean, you could just hang on and hope for the best.
No, we're doing this. Athletics.
All right.
Crit, 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 crit. Oh, that's not a crit. That's not a crit at all.
That is not a crit.
It's a
Definitely not
4,
a crit.
listeners. It's a 4.
Wait. I have rope.
All right, so you're gonna tie yourself to the chocobo.
I'm gonna tie myself to the chocobo and I'm putting my faith in God above that this bird can save me.
So it's moving while you're doing this. You're gonna need to roll a sleight hand check.
That's at least a +2.
And there's the crit. Except it's the bad one.
All right. You
Well, you're just the opposite of Ra today.
this is a David Cage chase scene, except you don't hit any of the buttons. You just let the game pick itself.
This is incredibly sad, really.
It's Shenmue
Alexa,
3 when
play
you get hit
Despacito.
in the face with a fire hydrant.
Okay, so
That's to tell people you're fine when really you're not.
you just have to tell people that you're fine, but you're not really fine, but they wouldn't understand. Okay. All right. So it starts moving as you give it a yaw. You pull out your rope and you start to tether it. You're looking between your distance and your own handiwork. It lands on a crate,
Back.
but welcome back. Lands on a crate, but the wood bends in, and that causes your rope work to sort of like jostle. The rope comes undone, and it slips from your hand.
Hey, rope.
You lose your rope. Give me a dexterity check to try and hold on again.
Just flat dexterity.
Dexterity save, rather.
That's a
Uh,
Oh my god, Stuart! Roll above a 10! Please!
I'm trying.
Stuart
Alright,
just
so you lose your rope.
cries.
You try to grab onto the harness again as it takes a leap, but the sun just upward trajectory just wrests the harness from your fingers. You slip off and you land. You're back on the stack of crates. You smash into them. They break. Thankfully, they kind of break your fall, but you still take 2 bludgeoning damage. The chocobo hops up onto the roof. And once it gets up on the roof, it's looking around, and it doesn't really know what to do. It's now like kind of a cat trapped on the roof.
Oh my god.
And you're laying in a pile of broken wood, a little bit disoriented. Your ears are ringing. You're sure that you can hear the marching approach of footsteps.
Okay, but I'm still incredibly stealthy.
You are pretty stealthy. There are also kind of like alleyways around that you could duck into if you can orient yourself, but you are prone, so you have that to work with too. You're prone,
Yeah.
you're aching.
It's not been a good day for anyone involved.
Ra's doing great.
He's having an okay-ish day.
Okay, so
It's a normal day for him.
Artemis fills herself up and just it's like fuck this. And
There are
just
citizens watching this, by the way.
Of
They're
course
watching
there
you
are.
stand up. You're just dusty
Why
and
wouldn't there
battered,
be
and
citizen?
Yeah, this is like Ankh-Morpork levels of stand around watching stuff happen.
yeah, they're just
Of course
like
citizens
very
would.
confused by this. Bits of flecks of like wood fall off your clothes as you stand up. So what are you doing?
she's gonna just like fill herself down the nearest alleyway at this
Oh
point.
gosh.
All right, so your vision's a little wobbly, but you see what looks like a gap into, hidey area. So you slip in there. I'm assuming that you roll stealth.
Yeah.
Okay.
My god, if you flub this fucking roll, you have a plus 10.
You do have a plus 10. 29.
God.
I cast invisibility.
Oh yeah,
29.
another thing is, I don't think this stealth check actually matters. A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of its passage and can't be tracked except by magical means.
True, but might as well roll stealth anyway, just to make sure people can't find you.
29.
You could always roll a 1.
Alright, so they start looking around. Strangely enough, there are no Artemis-shaped imprints in the crates that you've landed into. They do see the chocobo stuck on the roof, though. And they're like, how in the... a group of soldiers are crowding around. kind of like talking amongst themselves about how they're gonna get the damn bird down from there. You're nearby, but you're hidden. They don't notice you at all. And I'm gonna assume that you're just gonna use this moment to slip away from all the attention that you do not want.
Yes.
All right, so you just start sidling the other way. Let's cut to Ra. So, Ra, you are deep in the midst of sketching a very fine portrait of a average-looking noblewoman, but kind of doing her justice, all the same. What's your passive perception?
13.
13. They aren't being they aren't trying to really be stealthy, so you do notice a couple of distinctive uniforms out of the corner of your eye. They're moving in your direction.
Alright, well, I'm doing art, so...
Alright, so you continue going about your business.
About how close am I to finishing?
Let's say about 78% of the way through. But, you know, you might take some more time to revise some details and just flesh it out a bit more. Anyway, a couple of guys in uniform approach you, and one of them looks at the noble lady, and he says, "Apologies, ma'am, but we have business with this gentleman." And they turn to you, Ra.
I look up.
You the one who arrived with the Mysidian.
I'm gonna roll insight. Are these guys cops?
They look very official. Very decorated in their dress. They're carrying cutlasses. They also have pistols on their belts, which is why they didn't use those before. I don't know, but they have cutlasses, pistols. They have the tassels on their shoulder pad thingies and the single shoulder cape draping down their left shoulder, down the back of their left shoulder. One folds his arms, looking at you. The other one is got a notebook out that he's about to, pen into. He's kind of sizing you up.
So,
And you were with that chocobo as well, right?
Ra says... Actually, he looks at the noblewoman. What sort of reaction is she having?
She's kind of pursing her lips and darting her eyes between them and you. Like, kind of confused what's going on here. She's also gonna go inside. She seems concerned.
Alright, well, Ra's gonna say, well, certainly they are who accompanied me on my passage here, but I'm not affiliated with them, no.
The guy's looking at his notebook and he says, and something about a emotional support chocobo. He's tilting his head, kind of craning his head back, like, what the fuck?
Well,
I
if it
believe
was,
you're the owner of?
if it was my emotional support chocobo, I would have had it with me. providing me emotional support. Wouldn't I have? Seems like a fairly strange little
Suppose-
fib.
He kind of cups his chin and he looks down.
Is this really worth interrupting this portrait I'm doing? Of this noblewoman here? The sunlight's not going to have this angle for very much longer.
She looks at the noblewoman, looks at the officers, and she just kind of smiles like her kindest smile. And she's, I'm sure this is a misunderstanding, gentlemen. This fellow, for how long I've known him, seems like just the most upright gentleman.
A real big bead of sweat drops on the back of Ra's neck.
The officers look from her and then back to you. He's not penning anything in his notebook yet, but he does have his lips pursed, and he says, and he looks down and he kind of nods at his toes. And he says, one more question.
What would that be?
Did you happen to have the names of any of those folk? The big hatted woman, the Moogle, and the Mysidian.
He furrows his brow and says, I think the one with the big hat called herself Artemis during the passage. The pilot was one Ricardo, and the Moogle didn't really like talking to me that much.
I see. Well, perhaps we should have a few words with this Ricardo then. I apologize for taking up your time. He gives you a little bit of a bow, and the two just stride off.
Great.
Congrats, Ra.
Ricardo, Ra casts sending to Ricardo.
All right. What do you say?
I say, hey, the cops are after you. You have to leave.
He messages you back and says,
I got his back. Alright. And then I turn
Damn
back to the
you.
noblewoman, and I continue.
oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed. I'm so sorry for the interruption.
Oh, no. It's, you know. Just these fine upstanding gentlemen doing their duty. Of course you understand, yes. And she once more settles back into her pose, kind of like a bird resettling into its nest.
On top of the overhang, if you will. Alright, so after I finish and put on the finer details, I'm gonna show it to her. What does she think?
Alright, so let's see. That was a 15 and a 19.
15 and a 20, wasn't it?
Might have been a 15 and a 20.
Yeah, 15, 20.
She raises her eyebrows and she's pretty satisfied with it. She's willing to part with 4,800 gil for this piece.
Nice.
She says, "Oh, Igor, get my coin purse, please." And he sets down the luggage and he starts rummaging out through her things. She has a few clothes that she carries around in her day-to-day because it seems like she might get bored of an outfit after an hour or two.
That's hilarious.
Darling, how wonderful. Rarity.
5,400! Yes!
Congratulations, Ra.
I'm not poor until I
Yes!
lose all of this inevitably because Ron has horrible spending habits when he actually has money. Alright. So
the big brute of a bodyguard, indentured or not, and still not sure what's up with that. He basically thrusts a pretty ornate coin pouch into your person.
I'd keep the coin pouch too. Shit.
Alright. So Ra rubs his eyes because there are things. There are things for him to check up on now. It's probably been like what, 20 minutes since it got questioned. So he pinches the bridge of his nose. Okay.
She
What do I talk?
bids you a
Which one do
very
I talk?
polite day, unfolds her parasol, and just very daintily makes her way back home with her indentured servant in tow.
There is a world where it was her husband walking up on us and not the cops. And that is a world that I am glad I do not live in. So let's go figure out just what we have to fix.
You
What
could
is-
send. You could use some sending on someone else for.
Oh yeah, I can. Ra just begins walking back the way he came, muttering, "Emotional support bird. Huh. That's what they think it is." And he's going to cast sending on Artemis.
Ah, yes.
So, Artemis, for the time being, you've kind of holed yourself up in a little stairwell. There's a door next to you, but you can't get it open. It seems quite firmly locked. That's when you get a buzz from the sending spell.
So what Ross says is,
Ahoy, ahoy.
tell me tell me the name of the closest street sign to you. And then a brief description of your surroundings. And then I'm gonna use, just kidding. I'm not gonna use city secrets. Fuck. I don't have that anymore.
You don't
Nope, I have Acolyte as a summoner.
change the backstory. Oh dang. Huh. Didn't know we
Now
could
you
do
get to
that.
change your background.
Alternate
Yeah.
universe, Ra was an acolyte, so that's
Change
the
your background.
experience he has to work with right now.
Fucking alternate universe, Ra.
Come on. I would have changed mine too. Oh well.
I specifically asked about it in DMs, and he said that
Okay.
if I made a case for it, I could, so I did.
Okay, so. Fuck, I'm
What's
in
the
an
closest street
alleyway.
name?
You take a moment to peek up from the base of this stairwell that goes to like the basement of some building that you don't know. You're looking around. You can't really see a street sign from here, but you do see across the nearest street from the alleyway that you're kind of holed up in, there is a big flashy sign that says frickin' what's the word for it?
Hooters.
Now I freaking don't. I have to look it up. There it is. There we go. Okay. There's a big kind of flashy sign in Levin light that says, and there are window displays of like very fancy shirts and the like.
Oh wow, that works even better.
Okay. So help the armist is proficient in cartography.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a racial proficiency, right?
It's from archaeologist, so
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. You can, yeah, you got that.
yep, you can map this shit out. So she's like, okay, so that's that street while I was screaming. That street while the bird was trying to throw me off into the marketplace. That street when more screaming. I flipped that guy off in that street.
This is a Tony Stark outside of his power armor moment.
Okay, and then she's just like, how to relay this all in once. And she says, Armadil's accoutrements. Look for the building with the bird on it.
Alright, so Ra stops in the middle of his gate for a second as he gets the message and says, alright, something to work off of. And he approaches another passerby.
All right. This guy seems to be some sort of, well, seems to be like in his 20s. He's got like a suit shirt. The sleeves are rolled up. He's got like kind of like one of those neck cravat, except not as fancy and ruffled. It's just kind of a loose sort of generic necktie.
Hello, I'm a little new to town. Do you know where Amdiel's accoutrements would be?
Amdiel's accoutrements. You'll want to go. Cripes. That's on the other side of the mercantile district. Right. You'll want to take the main thoroughfare. Hang a left. Go about 2 blocks and then hang a right. Should be on the left-hand side.
No, of course not. Thank you. Ra nods to him and
he just kind of gives you a salute with like his unlit cigarette.
follows the directions. Ra lights his cigarette.
Do you have a cigarette?
No, but
Oh no!
I
Yeah,
have
you.
elemental affinity.
Yeah, you snap your finger and just a kindling lights up at the end, and he looks at it and he's like, "Oh!" And he turns around, he starts taking a smoke. But you move that way, and eventually you come to a scene where there is a blazing orange chocobo on an awning. There's a bunch of guardsmen surrounding the bottom of this awning. One of them lifts up a ladder and lays it against the awning, but the chocobo kicks it back down.
Okay, Ra
And
immediately.
Hold on. Some of the guardsmen are just kind of scratching the back of their head, sort of figuring out what to do here.
Ra immediately ducks around a corner so that Quetzal doesn't have a chance to recognize him and go berserk.
Okay. Right.
Does he see Amdiel's accoutrements anywhere?
Yeah. You peek. You slip around behind a building. You start peeking around. You look up the street, and the street kind of curves in a. The street kind of curves like this. Of course, there's buildings on either side, but it's a rounded curve. Give me a perception check.
Where are you?
You see what looks to be something similar matching the description right about here. Beep, beep, beep.
Ra's going to look towards any of the alleyways for anything suspicious.
So, from that, you can triangulate. I'm sorry if I'm backseating a bit much here, but
It's okay.
I'm trying to paint a vivid picture. And that is not a vivid picture. That is a
It's a
rectangle.
line with a dot on it.
That is a rectangle, my friend.
That's a really long pom-pom, Kupo.
So you can kind of gather that the alleyway that Armus might be hiding in is here? Question mark.
All right. As I'm walking on the streets, I'm trying to be as inconspicuous as possible, and then I'm just gonna sort of casually turn and walk in.
I'm gonna say that. Let's get some blue dots, some dark blue dots. Hold on. I'm gonna say that. Boop boop boop. These are some guardsmen. Gonna get a big orange dot to represent our buddy Quetzal, standing up here, knocking down the ladder. They keep putting it back up. It's like fucking Resident Evil 4.
So could I get
And
to that
you-
alley by going behind the buildings?
You are here, and you see another sort of like passageway that might lead into an alley. Switch back to black. Doing a lot of painting today, so you could probably slip into here.
All right. I'm going to look around for. No, I'm just gonna put my hood up.
All right, so you put up your summoner, or your rather, I don't know what you're wearing right now.
I'm
You put up your.
I'm wearing my Shadow Hunter clothes.
Okay, you put up your hood. You stick your hands in your pockets. You keep your head down. You hope that these flippin' people don't recognize a Shadow Hunter walking in broad daylight. And it seems like the clamor happening right now has taken most eyes off you, and except for those with passing interest. Walk across the street, slip into the alleyway, and you see the alleyway is kind of cluttered with boxes and pipes and stuff. It's pretty narrow, but there is a stairwell at the end of it as you round about to here.
Ra goes to the top of the stairwell and slowly starts to descend it.
Artemis, you're kind of snug down there. You're kind of pinned down in here because,
Yeah.
all the guards. So you finally bump into Artemis. She's kind of tucked down in the stairwell, hiding out.
Oh no, I don't bump into her. I walk down the stairs and I sit with my back up against one of the walls of this stairwell, and
Okay.
I wrap my arms around my knees and I look at her completely deadpan.
Hi, how was your day?
Why is my bird on an awning?
I think it's... Technically, I think it's called an outcrop.
And what? Why do you have a black eye?
Been a day, alright?
You're
You
almost
hear-
missing that entire sleeve.
You're hearing the occasional screeching quez from Quetzalcoatl, who's still on the awning.
Ra sighs. I have to get my bird, Artemis. But I'm just not mentally prepared to handle that reality right now. So instead, I'm going to sit here, and you're going to tell me what happened that caused my bird to be up on an awning, and why Myth and Teepee are hopefully dead, because God help them if they're still alive.
Technically, they're birds.
Oh! Some bog witch got to him then. That's a shame.
No, they turn themselves into birds.
Oh, could they always do that?
They couldn't teleport two of them, alright? So they had to turn themselves into birds.
Why? Why did they turn into birds, Artemis?
Don't know. Just because we were stuck in an office, alright? We're stuck in an
Is
office.
that the overhang? Is the overhang an office? Have I been
No.
horribly misunderstanding everything so far?
Technically, it's an outcrop.
Okay.
So we were in the office trying to get a license for your chocobo.
Oh, that makes
Then-
sense. Oh, fuck, this is my fault. Oh,
And then there's a-
God.
And as it turns out,
Technically speaking, I imagine it's also partly my Myth's fault for bringing up the crystal temple thing.
Yes,
Anyways,
but
as it turns out, they're not particularly
welcoming of religion in this place. And they pegged Myth for a crystal worshipper almost immediately. And then, well, I thought we'd weaseled some stuff out of them, which we did in the end. No thanks to Katipi. I swear I'm going to strangle the bastard next I find him.
I shot a lot of
And
birds
that,
back when I used guns.
no, don't shoot any here. I mean, you'll
Not-
know
not
right away
even-
because
not
he's a
even TP.
because he turned. I mean, you can shoot the hummingbird.
You could shoot that.
Okay, so.
Bottom line, they kind of want to arrest us all now. So, I managed to subdue 2 of the guards. Myth turned another one into a frog. TP failed to subdue the other one, so he ran away, raised the alarm. I blew out a window, they turned into birds, escaped. I teleported away. Rescued your chocobo, by the way. You're welcome.
From the awning? Is this in the future? Because my chocobo is not very rescued right now. It's very nice when you don't have something sharp to say back. At least not immediately. I'm sure I'll hear about this.
The Kyra there, what'd you say?
Nothing. Never mind. Great. So, if they're not dead and they're birds, you have no idea where they are.
I told them to meet back at the inn. I wasn't really expecting to be away this long. Look, I don't know. I need like another.
Oh, Ricardo's gone.
Great, fantastic. I need another 30 minutes, maybe? And then I can do magic again. That's not just blasting people.
How about
So,
we meet halfway and take an hour down here?
I mean, do you think your bird can keep them occupied for an hour?
No, I just
You hear the ladder get kicked back down again.
I just really need to cry.
Great, fantastic.
That's a good place as any to end, I think.
All right, so real quick,
Oh my god.
Teep. Yeah, what a shit show, huh?
Oh wow! Holy crap! That went down.
Myth and Teepee, you two you return to your normal forms, and you just slip into the tavern. You take a seat, and you just kind of keep your head down. I'm guessing.
Definitely.
So the overhang is definitely what its namesake implies. Most of the building actually juts out of the side of, well, what you can kind of consider the outer city walls of Ardengale. It's kind of like the back of a big galleon. You know how that big bulbous part of the back of a galleon is? It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big rotund window that just gives you a beautiful view of the sky and Soldea below.
I pointedly do not look out the window.
There's a lot of round
Is Myth
tables.
afraid of heights?
After all the falling she's done, probably.
She was just a bird. Did she walk to the overhang?
If you get turned into a penguin, you don't know that.
That's true.
All right, let's
Um,
go. Let's go. Let's continue. Let's continue.
So there's like tables, and there's, you know, your usual stock of folk. You have, you know, porters. You have the one or two adventurers who just happen to find themselves up in Ardengale right now. Just all kinds of mixtures of folk. The bar is actually at the center because this is a big circular space. So the whole bar area is actually in the center of this building. There are railways lining the outer circumference of the room, and those probably lead into the upper rooms. But this is where you find yourself, and it's not too hard to blend in. I'm assuming you guys take a seat and discuss your next course of action.
The conversation in the chat, I imagine, happened while they were waiting in the alleyway for
Read it
Artemis,
out.
and then after Artemis doesn't show up.
Can you guys read it out for the listeners?
Okay. Yeah, sorry. All right. Myth whispering to TP. Do you imagine Kale or his friends have anything to do with the state the city is in? Is in, rather.
It's entirely possible, Kubo. You'd need someone with some knowledge of how to siphon Aether from being such a bad. You know, look, that turned out to be a really bad idea. Built the whole world in darkness. Wasn't the best.
I mean, to provide the idea in the first place. As far as I know, the only people who would be this audacious before were the Fleurgians.
Does seem like it was a page taken straight out of Fleurge's book.
A page taken straight out of the book, Kubo.
Oh no.
But if Kale and his friends, if they didn't give the idea, then they could the citywide the same as freeing Shiva, froze Mist, and whatever the hell happened in Ifrit with Alakashi. That could very well be their next goal, in fact. So we should probably just hurry this up and find out where they're holding.
I imagine that'd be very hard with us at our current state.
Most definitely.
Everything is fine.
Do you think?
Continue.
I have no knowledge in these matters, but do you happen to know where the local underground scene is? Are there any figures how to get in contact with any of them? Suppose we're doing this now. If only my parents could see me now.
What's your passive perception, Myth?
22.
What?
22.
22. Wow.
Holy shit! What the
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Yeah, that is a big number.
Observant
That
is a hell of a feat.
That is a big number because there is a young man who is walking behind you, Myth. And you kind of catch him in the act. He was starting to reach for your possessions.
Killing.
I slap his hand away.
You slap his hand away, and
No, I slap his hand away, like just in an offhand motion, like make it kind of discreet, like make it look like I'm just kind of like, yeah, just like I'm stretching. I got a little cramp, just huddling over. Stretch, knock.
so you just make a casual swat of it. The boy reels back, mostly out of surprise rather than any like pain, because it's like, wow, holy crap, someone caught me. But the boy darts his green eyes around, and he kneels down and he picks up a piece of paper off the ground. He says, "You dropped this, miss."
Someone
Oh.
cast Thunderdome
Ah,
on this
thank you.
pub because it is on.
Oh, thank you. I take the paper as can I just like I take the paper and just kind of like as I do so I'm kind of like looking at his face kind of just can I roll an insight check on him?
Sure.
Right.
I imagine Myth's face is exactly what Mira's profile picture looks like. It's like, ooh, paper! Woohoo!
Ah. Yeah, sure.
So the boy looks to be about 14. He's got white hair, green eyes. His hair's a little curly. He's wearing really baggy he's wearing kind of like a really baggy jacket with like a fur collar. But strangely enough, he doesn't look like a pauper. He doesn't look ratty. He doesn't look like he's like downtrodden or a beggar or anything. He's actually pretty decently clothed for a pickpocket.
Well, I'd say that would be a good start, Koopa.
He steps away and he says, yeah, anytime. He starts running. He just kind of gives you a wave as he does. And he's like, see ya, miss! As he makes his
later,
way out
friend.
the door.
See you later, sir.
Look at the paper, look at the
Stop.
paper, look at the paper, look at the paper! We have 9
Basically,
minutes.
as a yeah. I look. So I just look at the paper. Ah, I can't believe I dropped. Can't believe it.
Uh,
You just
I drew-
flat.
I'm so
what?
careless. I kind of just like I kind of just like hunch over again. It's just like and casually make a remark. I can get so careless sometimes. What does it say?
So the paper has a certain symbol on the upper left corner. It also has what looks to be a kind of basically drawn map. It shows what you can presume to be the overhang, and it's kind of pointing towards a place, and there's an X marked out in bold. Looks like that's the map's destination.
TB looks up at the sky and mouths, "Thank you."
You can roll whatever you want on the symbol in the upper left corner.
Have I seen it before?
Well,
What's
That
that?
would be history.
that's a history. You
Alright.
can roll religion. All right, history.
Rule bear history.
That's big talk coming from you today, Stuart. You shut the hell up. My bird is on an awning because of you.
So,
Technically, it's no crop.
so the symbol looks like a 6-pronged gear, split in half, and the actual split of it looks like a lightning bolt. Where do you recognize this from? Well, your memory's kind of fuzzy. It might have been in a book back at the Realmsword Academy, but you can't quite peg it down. It does seem associated with this city, though. You know that.
Right.
And I think that's a good place to end it off, unless there's any quick things people want to do.
No.
All
So we're
right.
kind of like
I'm-
there's kind
I'm
of like nothing we can do, nothing else that we can do
Alright.
with it.
Holy
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave this here. What
Nice!
a fucking